I'm Andrew Moran, Liberty Nation's economics editor.
Very, very rocky.
Death by government.
Drain the swamp.
Hello and welcome to another installment of Liberty Nation's Swamponomics videocast. I'm Andrew Moran, Liberty Nation's economics editor. This week, President Donald Trump's tariffs are defying conventional economic thinking. Economic advisors are combing through new Japanese trade data. The numbers show that the nation's exports tumbled nearly 2% year over year in May, down from the 2% increase in April. Exports to the United States plummeted more than 11%, dragged down by a 25% decline in automobiles and a 19% decrease in auto components. But the most notable aspect of the report is that US-bound auto shipments fell 4%, suggesting that Japanese exporters, not US importers, were absorbing tariff costs. Let us explain. So while the value of auto exports to the United States slipped, volumes did not, suggesting that Japanese car companies were shouldering the tariff burden. In other words, US businesses and consumers have not experienced higher prices. Of course, this could all change in the coming months or years, but the figures are surprising to say the least. Basic economics will tell you that tariffs are almost borne entirely by US firms and consumers. While exports may take a slight hit in the form of lower prices, the burden rests virtually completely on the importing country. Are Trump's tariffs magical or something? During the 2018-2019 trade strife, which was a walk in the park compared to what's happening today, consumer inflation was, in the aggregate, low. There were two reasons for this. First, businesses chose to absorb the tariff-related costs rather than pass them on to the consumer. This is typically done in the form of lower profits. Second, the president's tariffs contained a treasure trove of exemptions. During the 2-year period, the producer price index rose, but the consumer price index remained relatively stable, hovering around the Federal Reserve's 2% target. Now, basic economics will also convey to us that tariffs function with a lag, meaning we might not see the effects until later this year or in 2026. The concerns are founded because companies attempted to front-run the levies by accelerating their imports before the highly anticipated April 2nd Liberation Day event. As a result, businesses are well stocked, for now. What happens if their inventories are exhausted and there still is no trade deal in place with countries like India, China, Vietnam, or Canada? This is the $64,000 question, and why monetary policymakers are sitting on their hands rather than cutting interest rates, which is an entirely different story. So far, all the inflation data suggests the president's tariffs are not resulting in higher consumer prices. The consumer price index headline inflation numbers are low. The producer price index is flat, import prices are unchanged, and export prices have declined. Conditions could evolve as economists predict inflation could rise to 3% by the year's end, and labor conditions could deteriorate rapidly, and economic growth prospects come into question. If predicting the future were easy, we'd all be millionaires. For now, price pressures have yet to form, trade flows have stabilized, and tariff income that the United States is generating is at all-time highs. This is what the administration wants to see. Whether it can sustain the momentum remains to be seen. If Christmas comes around and little Jimmy and little Sally still get their G.I. Joe action figures and Raggedy Ann dolls without going deep into debt, Swamponomics 2.0 could declare victory. That's it from this week. Please read my full stories on the pages of LibertyNation.com and be sure to check out my previous Swamponomics TV videos and interviews. Liberty Nation does not endorse candidates or campaigns or legislation, and this presentation is no endorsement. Thank you. I'm Andrew Moran, Liberty Nation's economics editor.
Very, very rocky.
Death by government.
Drain